because they've been with us. And Barron's home, and he's watching this. He's watching. He's a little young. He's watching. They love Barron, huh? We love Barron. And Ivanka's great. She watches. She loves this whole thing. She loves it. She loves you. She loves it. She loves the whole thing. But I just thought, you know, it's sad because we've been doing this for 9 years. We've had hundreds of rallies, hundreds. Actually, numbers that are not even conceivable. I've heard 800, 900, I don't know, but we don't even count them. But and they're all like this. They're all these magnificent, magnificent rallies. And this is the last one I'm going to have here. And I have one left, a whole thing. And remember, the rallies are the most exciting thing. There'll never be rallies like this. You know, you're going to have some leading candidate come in 4 years. And honestly, if they're successful, they'll have 300 or 400 people in a ballroom someplace. This is never going to happen again. It happens every single time. And it's never happened in the world. There's never been. This is a movement that's never happened, and it's going to be a movement that's going to save our country. It's going to be a movement that's going to save. But it's sad in terms of we'll never have this, but we'll have other get-togethers, and in all what we're doing, all these years of work, and you know, we started off with that very bad situation 4 years ago, and it was so sickening to wait 4 years. And if I didn't do so well, I did so much better the second time than the first. I wouldn't have done this if I took in less votes. We took in close to 12 million more votes. I mean, Barack Hussein Obama, he didn't do that. He got far less votes the second time, and he won. And he's a major divider. I watched him the other night. I mean, he's a very divisive guy. I've always said that. He is a very divisive guy. And his wife, I've always been so nice. Ooh, she was hitting me. She was hitting me, Michelle. She was hitting me. That wasn't nice. I've always been nice, but they're dividers, I'll tell you right now. We're not going to stand. Dividers are no good. He's a highly overrated man, I'm telling you that. But he's a divider. I watched him with this crap where he's trying to get her in. He's the one that pushed her in the first place. And look what happens. I mean, I hope it happens, because if it doesn't happen, this country's in big trouble. But we've been doing this now for 9 years, and we had a great first term. We rebuilt our military. We cut taxes more than any president in history, including Ronald Reagan, who did a big tax cut. We cut more regulations. We developed an open Space Force through the Congress, and I think that's going to go down. First time in 82 years that last one was the Air Force. We did that. I mean, think of all the different things that we did. We were respected all over the world. China respected us. Everybody respected us. There was no laughing at your leader. They came up with all these hoaxes, Adam Schiff and all this scum that we have in this country. They're scum. And they knew it was a hoax. And they tried to put this guy who didn't know anything about Russia, they tried to put him in jail, Adam Schiff, conceived of the story. Think of it. Adam Shifty Schiff, one of the truly unattractive people. I call him Watermelon Head. He's got the largest head and the smallest neck. He's got a neck that's about 4 inches around. He's got a watermelon on top of it. But he's not a stupid person, but he's an evil kind of person. And he's likely going to be a senator, unfortunately. But, I mean, this scum is going to be a senator. So their movement carries on, but our movement carries on, too. As long as ours carries on. No, he's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. Do you think he can play football for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't think so. One shot, and there goes the whole thing would fall apart. One little shot. One tiny tap like that, boom, falls off. No, but bad. But think of how bad this is. I don't want to put him on the spot, but this kid went through hell on a story that they knew was made up, Russia, Russia, Russia hoax. And I saw Schiff come out of an intelligence meeting or something. He's not supposed to even do this, but he goes out into this press, and he says, Donald Trump Jr. will go to jail for what he's done with Russia. right? And I said, whoa. I said, what's this all about? So I called him up. I said, Don, what's going on? I said, Dad, I don't know anything about Russia. He didn't do anything. He went before grand juries. He went before what they did to this guy was, and you know what? I think he became tougher because of it, maybe too tough. He maybe got, I think he's too tough, Sarah. I don't like it. He's too tough. They've made my son too tough, Mike. But he's a great guy, and he's a good person, and they put him through hell. But think of it. What person, and Hillary was in the act, they spied on my campaign. It's now proven. Spied on my campaign. The Russia thing with Mueller, you saw Mueller's performance in Congress, right? He didn't know anything. We were totally exonerated. But for 2 years, this guy went through hell. He went through hell. He had nothing to do with Russia. He didn't know anything about it. They went through millions of phone calls. They didn't find one phone call to Russia. It was a hoax. But think about how bad you have to be. We're going to put the son of the President of the United States in prison for what he's done with Russia. And he knows it was a hoax because he conceived of the hoax along with crooked Hillary and the rest of them. And Obama, in my opinion. No, but think of it. He conceived of a hoax, and he wants my son to go to prison. That is human scum, I'm sorry. And he'll probably go on to be a senator, and that's okay, because we have blocked them. Everything we've done, we've won against, but they are bad people. You know, if they put that genius toward making our country great, boy, would we have fun. We would have fun together. But I don't know if they're capable of doing that. It'd be great if we could bring everybody together. The time we came together is just previous to COVID. We had the most successful country ever in history. We were doubling up in China. They were paying us billions of dollars. No other president took in anything. And you know what was happening? Everybody had jobs. African American, Asian American, everybody. Asian, the Hispanics. Look at me with Hispanics. Hispanics, they remember that period 4 years, 5 years ago. But everybody was successful. Men, women, people that went to MIT, Harvard, and Wharton, and people that didn't have a degree. Everybody was doing better than they've ever done before. People that never graduated from high school. And I'll tell you what was happening is I was getting calls from people that I would say are the radical left, but people that were definitely very far left, and people wanted to start meeting. There was a whole thing. This country was coming together, and then we got hit with something that nobody knew what the hell it was, although I did say it was from the Wuhan lab. I was right about that. And bad things happened, and we actually did a great job. Never got the credit for that. We got the credit for what we did with the economy. For what we did, we rebuilt the entire U.S. military, and we knocked the hell out of ISIS. It took them, they were fighting ISIS for 18 years. It took me 4 weeks to get rid of them, right? 4 weeks. So, 4 weeks to get rid of them. But I will tell you, and I just say this because so many people say, is there any way to unify the country? And I used to sort of say, no, look, we want to have walls, we want to have borders. And they don't. I think it has to just be explained. I think that's an easy one. They want the men and women sports things. You know, I've been a politician for now, I can't believe I say that, but 9 years. I've had a lot of people come up and say, well, what about taxes? What about this? Nobody's ever said, sir, it's really important to allow men to play in women's sports. I've never had anybody say it. Nobody's come up to me and said, you know, on the transgender thing, sir, it's very important to my family that you get that. I mean, these things are crazy. And yet on television, that's all they talk about. That's all they talk about. But we're going to turn this country. The bottom line is it was really starting to come together. Then we got hit. We got to fix that. Think of it. And when I turned it back over, the stock market was higher than it was just previous to COVID coming. And think of it. Amazing. We handed them something beautiful, and they blew it. They blew it right out the window. It's terrible. They blew it, and now we're going to end up in a depression, frankly, if you look at the numbers that we are going to present in a second. But I just want to thank my kids because they are great kids, and they have been with me from the beginning. They've been with me right from the beginning. And I thought I should do that because we go to Michigan tonight, and we do one final. We'll do 4 tonight. But we go to Michigan, and I really thought I should recognize my children. So this is the second to last one. That's sad, because we've been together. I mean, look at these people, the front row Joes, the North Carolina women, the whole thing. We have people that have come to hundreds of the rallies, and we all love it. And, you know, they all love the country. Everyone they don't come to our rallies if they don't love the country, just because they wouldn't do it. But but here's the only thing in closing. We have done these rallies, and they were only done for one purpose: to put us in a position that we can be put in tomorrow to fix our country, because the rallies, otherwise it's just nice entertainment. So all of these rallies that we've had for years now, they're done to put us, and you know, after that last horrible situation, and so many bad things happened, China was immediately allowed to go buy oil, and Iran has hundreds of billions of dollars now. They had nothing. They were broke, and so many other things happened, and it's really sad. But we were put in a position with these rallies where, I can't tell you yet, but I mean, we're certainly on the 2 or 3 yard line, and the only way we can blow it is if you blow it. I've given you the ball. I mean, you got to go and vote. You got to vote. And if they vote, Susie, right? If they vote, it's over. And they know it. They know it. They know it. They've already pulled out of a couple of states, you know, states like, the word is, they pulled out of North Carolina. They cut all their ads. They're using the money someplace else. I even heard they ran out of money. They don't have any money with all the money they raise. And they get a lot of it from unions and this and that. Even though some of the guys were telling me, the steelworkers, they say the steelworkers are with you, just the top guys aren't. Because you know what? I don't even blame them. It's a habit. So many years, 50, 60, 70 years, they support the Democrats, like a habit. But they're going to do a lot better with me. I want to tell you one quick story because it has to do with these people, because I want to save their jobs, whether it's auto workers or steel workers. So China, I have a friend who's the best and the biggest auto factory builder in the world, I guess. Very big, very good, very capable guy, John. And I see him, and we're talking about a year ago, and he said, yeah, we're building some big, oh, good, I want to see, we're building some big auto factories. Great, I want to see one. When can we go? I want to take a look, because, you know, I'm thinking about running pretty hard, and that's a big thing. We got to save Michigan. We got to save Detroit. Detroit's got big problems. But just generally the car industry, right? It's a big industry. We want to be at the top. So I want to see one of the factories. Okay, good. We're going to go down to Mexico. I said, I don't want to go to Mexico. I want to look at it. No, we don't build the big ones over here. What do you do? He said, it's just, we don't. It just doesn't work that way. So he said, as an example, we're building a really big one in Mexico right near the border. I said, who's the owner or the principal? He said, China. So China's building a massive auto, massive. He said, it'll produce probably more cars than the state of Michigan produces, when you think, you know, because they have smaller plants. They're all over the place. Some of them are very old. I said, that's bad. That's going to kill Michigan. It's going to kill Detroit. It's going to hurt South Carolina, Tennessee, and various other places that are involved. That's really bad. This is a big, yeah, they're going to build more. And I thought about it, and about 2 months ago, I let it be known that I'm going to put tariffs on all the cars that they're going to be selling us into the United States. And I let it be known that the tariffs will be about 100%, and 100% tariff on any car that's made in these factories in Mexico, probably any car coming in from Mexico. Remember, I'm going to put tariffs. This is a big thing. I'm putting tariffs on Mexico. If they don't straighten out this drug, it's their problem. They're coming through Mexico, and Mexico is accepting this fentanyl. And I'm putting tariffs on Mexico. Every damn thing that they sell into the United States is going to have like a 25% tariff until they stop drugs from coming in. And let me tell you something. Those drugs will stop so damn fast that your head will spin. And I'm not playing games. And I'm doing the same thing to China. If they want to sell Mexico fentanyl, at levels that nobody, it's going crazy right now what they're doing. You know, at least we fought it like hell, and we did relatively successfully. You can never, I mean, they put it in hubcaps of cars. It's tough. It's all over the place. It's genius, some of these devices they come up with. But I've told China, you want to sell, we're going to have a good relationship with China, hopefully. I want to have a good relationship. But you sell fentanyl into the United States through Mexico, we're putting a 25% or so tariff on until such time as you stop doing it. And they're not going to do it for long because that is a massive penalty. And we don't have to fight. We don't have to fight with guns. You know, I had no wars. I stopped wars. I stopped two countries from fighting each other that have nothing to do with us. You can ask Rick Grinnell, who did a great job for us, and you can ask, you can ask Mike Pompeo, he's here. I stopped countries from fighting wars that had nothing to do with us. Just say, listen, fellas, you've been killing each other for 1,000 years. If you keep, and they both did business with the United States and made money. I said, if you keep fighting like this, you're killing people. Lots of people are dying. That's all I cared about. I didn't care where they're from, but people are dying. Good people are dying because these leaders are stupid. And so I said, if you keep doing it, I'm putting a 50% tariff on everything that you do business with the United States on. You got to. I'm talking to two countries. They call me up the next day together. We have resolved our differences. It didn't help me, but you know what? I saved a lot of lives. So getting back to the auto plant, because, you know, I may be the greatest weaver of all time. But what happens, only brilliant people can do that. Stupid people can't do it because they get lost. Where am I? So the stories are very boring. They have to go right down like this, right down to the bottom. They can't weave it all, but I can weave and tell you all these stories. And they're all related, and in some cases not too much, 10%, but 10% is enough. So getting back to where we started. So I see John. I'm at the Detroit Economic Club last week. Had a great people. And I see John sitting in the audience right where that big, strong guy is with the label in his jacket, right there. You with a hat on. Big, powerful guy. He's much more powerful physically than John, I can guarantee you that. But I see John sitting right there, and I'm making a speech. I want to see John. I want to get this speech over with. I want to find out what the hell's happening with that plant. But I had told everybody that if they build that plant, I'm putting a 100% tariff on every car that stupid plant makes, because they're looking to hurt our country. And I did that and then sort of forgot about it. But now I see John. I say, do me a favor, that guy sitting over there, please bring him backstage after I'm finished speaking. They bring him backstage. I say, hi, John, how's that plant going where China's going to spend all that money to build a big plant that's going to hurt the United States and kill its auto industry? He said, sir, I was notified last week that they've given up the plant. They're not going to build it. They think you're going to win. And if you win, they think it's going to be a very bad experience for them. They're going to lose their show. And that's what happened. And I stopped it. And those guys back there, I took some pictures with a few of them, and they were hugging and kissing me. I said, get off me. Look at the size of those arms over there. They never kissed a man in their life. But you know why? Because I put tariffs on China dumping steel in the United States, and every one of those guys is working now, right? And they're all working now, and their steel plants are open. And I was just starting. So they like Trump. The rank and file loves Trump. The other guys are sort of like, there's something strange going on. But I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't want the other guys. I just want these guys. I'll tell you, the Teamsters supported Trump, 62%. And they have a great leader. They have a great leader in the Teamsters, right, Steve? Sean O'Brien is a great leader, but he just took a neutral, and I think that's good. But he took a neutral position. But they took a vote with the Teamsters, and the Teamsters voted for us, and the firemen voted for us. I mean, everybody's voting for us. And I like union, I like non-union, I like everything. Depends where you are, but the unions have been amazing. But the steel unions, they were all going to go out of business. If I didn't put those tariffs on, there wouldn't be one steel plant in this country open, and that's a business, right? And that's a business we need. Look, I'm going to keep us out of World War III. We're not going to have World War III. But if we ever had, steel is a business you have to have. If we ever had a war, you need steel. War with China. Oh, do you think they'll keep selling us steel? I don't think so. We need more steel from China as we attack China. These people are crazy. So that's one of the reasons I like those guys. And it was a 50% tariff, and I would have lifted it higher, but they practically stopped. And all these steel mills are open today because of what I did. There wouldn't be a steel mill in the country. And these guys didn't have the guts. They would have never had the guts to do it. So 4 years of Kamala have delivered nothing but economic hell for the American workers and the auto workers, all workers. Her inflation disaster has made life unaffordable and cost families over $30,000 in higher prices. We got to get the prices down, and we will. When we bring the energy way down, the prices are going to come down. It's very simple. It's not that complicated. When they took over energy and they made it like they're going to close up everything, the prices of energy went up, and that drives it. It's so big, energy, it's so powerful. And we have more than any other country, but we don't use it. Just days ago, we had the worst jobs report in modern history with only 12,000 jobs that were created. We used to hearing 250,000 jobs. It wasn't as good as we anticipated. 12,000 jobs. That's like Walmart. Think of it. Oh, Walmart deals in those numbers. This is a country. But listen to these numbers. 30,000 private sector jobs were killed in a single month. And most of the hiring is done by government jobs, so it's easy. You just tell the government to hire some more people to keep your numbers up. But they're not the jobs you want. You want the jobs like the people standing behind me. And listen, and nearly 100,000 manufacturing jobs were wiped out. And these are government numbers. These are not Trump numbers. This is not Trump. This is government. We get it right off the tabs. They were wiped out. 100 jobs, manufacturing jobs, were lost since the start of this year. 150,000 Americans joined the unemployment rolls in October. 150,000. And nearly 250,000 people dropped out of the labor force over a very short period of time. Just think, a few months ago, they had fraudulently claimed, these people are crooks, they had fraudulently claimed that they had 818,000 jobs created. And it was a fraud. And what happened is they wanted it because that was such a big number that it made the jobs picture not look great, frankly, because they're so far down. But it looked okay. It wasn't like a story. You know, they had a normal thing. So they created a fake 818,000 jobs, and they thought they'd be able to get away with it through the election. They wanted to get away with it right through the election and then announce a week after the election that they're going to revise the numbers. How would you like to be me? And that happened. When I heard this, I looked up, I said, thank you, God. Thank you very much. Because, how would you like to be me and have a phony, well, I sort of had that the last time, in all fairness, with all the phony crap, but how would you like to be me and let's say I didn't win because the economy looked like it was doing okay, and then you see that they fraudulently put down almost 1 million jobs on the rolls, and then they announced that we're going to revise the numbers downward. But they also did something else because they just revised past jobs report down by an estimated 112,000 fake jobs. So that's almost 1 million fake jobs, and the press doesn't want to write about it. But Megyn.Kelly will write about it and talk about it, and others will, but they have to know about it. Meanwhile, 100% of the net jobs created in the United States of America has gone only to migrants. Migrants have occupied 100%. And these are depression-type numbers, and that's where we're heading if she's elected. That's where we're heading. If she's elected, this is a depression. This is a 1929, and there was nothing worse than that. This is a 1990s where it was not good, but fine. This is a 1929 where people were jumping off buildings. This is a 1929. It took 25 years to recover from that mess. And I always said, I said it before, the one president I don't want to be under any circumstances is Herbert Hoover. And that was done by bad tax policy simultaneously with lifting all sorts of other things that made it impossible for people. A lot of mistakes were made. But it took 20 to 25 years to recover. And I don't want that happening. And that's going to happen with her. She doesn't have a clue. She doesn't have a clue. And, you know, I just mentioned a name, but a woman who I saw the other night on television just rip some poor idiot apart. Megyn.Kelly is here, and she's doing, come up, come up here, Megyn. She ripped a guy apart.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Hi, everybody. Hey, it's great to see you. Can you believe this guy? Can you believe the energy and the stamina on this guy? At his age, I'm ready to go to sleep over there. He's got another rally to go to till tonight. Let me tell you, first of all, one of the reasons why I wanted to come here, one of the many reasons I wanted to come here. When I launched my show 4 years ago, we had Mark Cuban on the program. You know, yeah. You may have seen he was in the news this week. And he started going on about how bad America's race history was and how ashamed he was of America, and that's why he was at all these protests, and he felt it was really important to stand up and speak out about human rights violations. And then it got awkward when I asked him about all the money he was taking from China. And then he dropped a bunch of F-bombs, and I thought, I really enjoy this feeling of proving Mark Cuban wrong. And so here I am at a Trump rally, a strong, intelligent woman to prove Mark Cuban wrong again. I won't take up much of your time, but I do want to tell you the main reasons I am voting for Donald Trump. Number one, immigration. He mentioned it. And people like Laken Riley. I'll be thinking about her tomorrow all day. 22 years old, killed in Georgia, a young nursing student by an illegal. I'll be thinking about Jocelyn Nungare, 12 years old, in Texas, murdered by 2 Venezuelan illegals. President Trump closed the border. Kamala Harris opened it by choice. It wasn't accidental. She said it would be humane. That's what she and her boss believed. Tell it to Laken Riley's family. There was nothing humane about it. He closed it. They opened it. It was an intentional choice, and there's no reason not to believe they won't do it again. The boys should not be in the girls' sports. The boys should not be in the girls' bathrooms. The boys should not be in the girls' locker rooms. Peyton McNabb, North Carolina sophomore in high school, slammed so hard in the face by a volleyball hit at her by a boy pretending to be a girl, she suffered traumatic brain injury and permanent paralysis. Kamala Harris looks at her and says, be kind, suck it up. And that's what's right. Why do our girls have to face brain damage in order to be kind to boys who want to invade their sports? And by the way, they are going into the women's prisons. She changed the law in California to make sure the taxpayers would pay for their sex change operations. She was not just following the law, she changed the law. President Trump will stop it. He got mocked by the left for saying he would be a protector of women. He will be a protector of women, and it's why I'm voting for him. He will close the border. He will keep the boys out of girls' sports and where they don't belong. And you know what else? One more thing. He will look out for our boys, too. Our forgotten boys and our forgotten men. Guys like you. Guys like these guys who've got the calluses on their hands, who work for a living with the beards and the tats who maybe have a beer after work and don't want to be judged by people like Oprah and Beyonce, who will never have to face the consequences of her disastrous economic policies. These guys will. He gets it. President Trump gets it. He will not look at our boys like they're second-class citizens. And ladies out there who want a bit of girl power in this election, let me tell you something. How can you win when the sons and the husbands and the brothers and the dads you love are losing? It's not a win. We care, young women and older, about the lives of our children, the safety of our children. And we need not get so obsessed with what happens when they're in the womb that we forget about taking care of them once we're here and they're loved. Last point, what I don't want, what I don't think you want, is the left's version of masculinity. You see that ad they did about Trump voters trying to encourage women to lie to their husbands so that they could vote for her instead of Trump? That's their version of what marriage looks like. An overbearing husband who bullies his wife into saying she voted one way as opposed to an honest, open relationship. Oh, wait, I'm talking about Kamala and Doug. Okay, sorry. Where was that story in the news? Where was that story? I don't remember a single media person, not one, who sat with him, asked him about the abuse allegations against him by a successful professional attorney who has great details, who has receipts, who has witnesses. No one even asked about it. I'm not into their version of toxic masculinity or new masculinity. I prefer the old version. Them, all of you, and I prefer a president who understands how to be strong and how to fight. I hope all of you do what I did last week. Vote Trump and get 10 friends to vote Trump too.
Unbelievable. Thank you. Wow. Whoa. Oh, wow. I have some more big news, Megan. I'm just getting this right now. So somebody that's very, very respected asked me to do his show 2 weeks ago, and I said, why not? And to me, it's very big because he's the biggest there is, I guess, in that world by far. Somebody said the biggest beyond anybody in a long time. And his name is Joe Rogan, and he's never done this before. And it just came over the wires that Joe Rogan just endorsed me. Is that right? Thank you, Joe. That's so nice. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that, so. And he tends to be a little bit more liberal than some of the people in this room. No, I had a lot of fun, and he was amazing, and it was a 3-hour interview. In fact, I was 2 hours late for a rally that we had. I had explained that a little bit, and it was cold out that night. We flew, but we had to make it. We were more than 2 hours late, and they understood. I said, you know, I just was interviewed by a very interesting guy, and he just kept going on. They called it a long form, and it could have gone a lot longer, but he was great. And he's not a person that does endorsements, but he did an endorsement. So I just want to thank Joe Rogan. That's fantastic. And Megan, thank you very much. That was something. That's really something. Also with us tonight is the man that I hope is going to be your next senator. He's a winner. He's tough. He's smart. He loves your state. He loves your Commonwealth, and he will take this Commonwealth to new heights. He's He's just a spectacular guy, Dave McCormick. And Dave, I think, stand up, Dave. I think you, I looked at a poll before, and I think you're doing very well. He's against a survivor. The guy is a survivor. He's a lousy senator, doesn't do a thing. Do you think he's talking about fracking? That guy talks about fracking. He's not letting fracking get it disturbed in any way, shape. We'll double up the fracking and the jobs and everything else. She's totally against. But everything in his life he's done has been successful. He was tremendously successful in college. He was a really good athlete. I don't think he was a wrestler, but I think the Penn State guys probably could have taken him. What do you think, huh? What do you think? I think maybe, but you never know, right? You never really know. There could be an upset in the making. But he's been successful at everything. He went to Wall Street, became one of the most important people on Wall Street. And I just want to say that I hope you vote for him. He's going to be a great, great senator. The Commonwealth will be happy. You'll view it as a terrific vote. And think of it, it's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow. We have another man who's a great senator from Tennessee. I love Tennessee. You know why I love him? For a lot of reasons, but we won by 31% last time. We didn't have to do this late night stuff with Pennsylvania, but I think Pennsylvania, I think we're going to have a big number in Pennsylvania too, but I want to thank you. Senator Bill Hagerty, please. Thank you, Senator. Good-looking senator, too. There's something about that. And you have we have so many celebrities here, it's incredible. But, Bill, thank you very much. Good. Mike Pompeo, please stand up. Mike. He lost all that weight. He's so thin now. Looks good. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it very much. And we have members of Congress that are warriors. These guys have been fighting with me, meaning fighting with me in the proper way, not the bad way. And they're incredible people. John Joyce, Megyn.Kelly, G.T. Thompson, Guy Reschenthaler. These are terrific people. And somebody told me that, Guy, you were a terrific wrestler. Is that true? I didn't hear that. So I'm never going to fight him. That's all. You know, when you hear that stuff, don't ever go against the odds, right? That's fantastic. I heard really good. Thank you very much, Guy. I appreciate it. Former Congresswoman and Democratic, and she was a good candidate, too, for President of the United States, Tulsi Gabbard, a woman of great common sense. A woman of great common sense. And she just switched over to the Republican Party, so that's good. She was a Democrat. Then she became an independent, and then she became, thank you very much. It's a great honor. She's a fantastic person. I always said, you know, I've watched her for a long time, and I'd say that's a woman of great common sense, because it's all about common sense. We could say conservative, it's common sense, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. A woman that we're very proud of. She started with us in the Oval Office in the White House. She became press secretary, and she then became the governor of Arkansas. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Sarah, thank you. Beautiful, thank you. She's doing a good job, too. Oh, we have so many great people. So somebody that ran for president, and let me tell you, he was good, he was smart, he was so impressive to me, and he was, I watched the whole thing go on. They said, should you run? I said, listen, I got a 72-point lead over everybody. People want to hire a smart person, not a smart, to be president. When you're leading by 70 or 72 points, why should you go on a debate and have 12 people knock the hell out of you? Because eventually it's got to have a little impact. So I said, I'll sit out the debates, but I watched the debates, and I watched this man, and he was unbelievable, the governor of North Dakota. He's become one of the great oil experts. That state is doing unbelievable since he's been governor. And he was like me. He was a successful businessman. He made a lot of money, and he wanted to run, and he knew the state. He was in the state, and he ran for governor. He won. He's been one of the best governors in the country, very smart, and we got to bring him in because he's not going to be running again. I guess he's term limited or something, but he's not. And we're going to find a good place for this guy. We're not going to let him go. Governor Doug Burgum. Thank you. Thank you very much. And his wife, Catherine. Catherine is phenomenal. The son of one of the